Hello, and welcome to the intro episode of Mostly Movies. I am one of your hosts, AJ.
And I'm your other host, Brian.
How are we doing, Brian? What's up? What's going on? How's life?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
We're just hanging out, doing a podcast.
Doing a podcast. This is Mostly Movies. This is a mostly movie podcast where we mostly talk about movies. Ow. Move back when you laugh.
I have to go across the room when I laugh.
But no, Brian is right. We always are talking about movies, mostly movies, but we also talk about comic books. Mostly Brian. He is the comic book guy.
Comic book geek.
Yeah.
From birth.
How long have you been? When did you know when your first time you listened to when you read your first comic?
No, I don't remember exactly. I do remember when I was a youngin' walking down to 7-Eleven and buying comics off the spinner racks when they used to have those. Yeah.
Wow. Back in the 50s?
Mid-80s. Because the 7-Eleven was like 2 blocks away, so
yeah.
My mom let me walk there by myself. This was in Tacoma.
Oh, wow.
Too. In North Tacoma, so it wasn't too bad.
If you're familiar with the Tacoma area, we are Pacific Northwest kiddos over here.
Mm-hmm.
So representing Seattle.
Coming to you live from the shadow of Mount Rainier.
KKTY.
Bayside.
No, it would be KKTY Puget Sound.
Yeah, I've been collecting comics for a long time.
Nice.
I got a decent collection. I know a lot of people who have way bigger collections than I do.
Yeah.
So.
Besides reading comics, we're down on the street, and I have a copy of a comic book. You, what is it, inked?
No, I penciled it. Yeah.
Penciled it. There we go.
It.
So the lowest thing you could do for a comic book, right?
Yeah, so I drew this comic biography about George Lucas, and turn that off.
My phone. 80s.
And yeah, just one little issue, 22 pages. Came out a few years ago.
Nice.
And I have a stack of copies because I've only sold about 5.
You saw one of me signed, limited edition.
Yeah.
Dang, thing's pretty fresh though.
So yeah, that's what I did, and now I'm kind of working on a couple other art projects. So
that's rad.
We'll see how those go.
Like Stan Lee over here.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, nice.
What are you doing, AJ?
I dabble with film and stuff. Working on a few projects right now currently. I'm gonna tag myself. Check out my YouTube channel. YouTube.com// as told by Gonzo. Got a few things on there, a few short films, a few wedding videos. Also hit me up on Flickr, Arthur Gonzalez Photography. Got a few pics on there. Also interested in emailing us. Any questions, concerns, maybe you want to be on the show, definitely hit us up at mostlymovies@gmail.com.
And the Instagram is Mostly Movies Pod.
Oh, yes. You can also find us on iTunes, trying to get on Spotify. Also YouTube, so youtube.com/mostlymovies. And also the Facebook fan page. So we got a lot of stuff going on.
Still working on the fan page.
Still working on a lot of things, but
hopefully by the time you hear this podcast, the fan page will be up.
Yes, everything will be up. And those will be probably in the description, depending on if you're listening on iTunes or youtube.com. So, best, in your opinion, what is your favorite director? No, so 3 questions: favorite actor, favorite director, and favorite movie of all time. Go.
Well, favorite director would be Steven Spielberg.
All right.
Favorite movie would be a non-Spielberg film with The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Star Wars Episode 5. And then my favorite actor... that's a tough one. I have a lot of favorites. I like Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
Big Tom Hanks guy. I like him. I love Arnold.
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 Getting
Big
in the
Arnold fan.
getting in the chopper now.
Get to the chopper.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. I'd say those are my tops.
Well, I'm gonna have to steal 2 of those from you. Sorry. Spielberg is up there. I grew up watching, Jurassic Park, and E.T. One of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite movies. Not.
E.T.'s a good movie.
Yeah, that was the first movie I seen by myself back in 2002 when it was released.
I saw that by myself too.
There you go.
But I was in my 20s. I was just lonely.
I am so lonely.
And I cried like a bitch in that movie every time.
In that movie or
Waterworks.
during that movie?
At the end mostly. Well, when they find him lying in the ditch,
and
I start to bawl, and then at the very end when they're saying goodbye, I'm like,
Elliot. They're killing him. They're killing him.
We're dying. I'm getting choked up right now. We gotta move on.
No, Spielberg has always been like. Even my mom knows that anything Spielberg. Like when I was growing up, like any Spielberg movie that came out, I would go see. Like Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks. I remember seeing that. Yeah. Saving Private Ryan was one of the first R-rated movies I ever seen.
Oh, I love that movie.
AI. I mean, Spielberg, like the last couple of years, I feel like he's doing movies that like he wants to do, and not like big like fan favorite movies like Jurassic Park or anything like that, or Indiana Jones or things like that. But I don't know. I thought Ready Player One was kind of a throwback to the fans. Kind of.
Yeah, I
like Ready Player One.
Ready Player One, I dug that movie. Just, I guess, probably for the nostalgia.
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia in that movie.
There's a lot of he had put a lot of his own like stuff from his own movies and stuff from mostly like a lot of Back to the Future stuff in that movie.
Yeah, even
he produced.
Yeah, even the score. And the little, I forgot what it's called, the Zemeckis ball.
The Zemeckis cube.
Yeah. And you hear the little
from Back to the Future.
Yeah. It's that leads into one of my all-time favorite movies. So my all-time favorite movie is a toss-up between 1984's summer blockbuster hit, Ghostbusters. It came out in 84, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Ghostbusters. I love that movie. So good. That's probably my all-time favorite of all time. I love that movie.
That's a classic. I love that movie too.
It's so funny, and it's just the chemistry between all the characters is awesome. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a real big Ghostbusters fan, and I even like number 2. Not bad.
Number 2 was it was fun. It wasn't as good as I thought. Number 1 was the writing on it was spot on.
Yeah,
and it had a good mix of science fiction and comedy.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
I felt like
everything about that movie just works.
Yeah, I feel like number 2 is like strictly like a studio push. Like they really pushed them to make a sequel, and it shows. Like it just kind of it's pretty much like the first one, but like with the characters, like different characters in the same situations, but it's just weird how to explain it.
They had a guy from a painting. The bad guy this time.
Vigor, the Carpathian. What is also Vigor the Bush?
Command me, Lord.
Evil? A child. A child? What's his name?
Janusz.
Janusz. I always try to ask you out. You always have an excuse to have a bad breath or something. I'll take a rain check.
Well, then why are you came?
Where are you from exactly? The Upper West Side? I remember as a little kid, the part where he goes to Dana's apartment and he's like asking, like the lights go out.
Oh,
in the city, and he's walking down the hallway and just like a beam of light comes out of him. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like I didn't. To this day, I still get the chills.
The little like nanny ghost.
Oh yeah.
Comes and steals the baby. It took me forever to realize that was actually him.
Yeah, that was him.
It was like him.
That was a ghost. No, it wasn't a ghost. It was Janusz. Oscar named after a hot dog. You poor man.
This show's just gonna be us quoting Ghostbusters all the
Hey, I'm alright with that. Yeah, it's okay. You can bring him along. Well, of course, maybe we'll stop by. Oh, great. We're going to play Parcheesi. We're going to do a whole lot of dancing. And I'm steal Tom Hanks from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Hanks is like, he could do no wrong to me, to be honest. Except for that volcano movie.
Joe versus the volcano, yeah.
Oh.
And Punchline.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that.
I've never seen that
Him
one.
and Sally Field, and they play stand-up comedians. It's just
yeah.
It's just a fucking boring ass movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's not anything to say about his performance. It's just
Yeah.
the fucking movie was boring as shit.
I don't know what my favorite. I think my favorite movie from him is probably Forrest Gump. I cry every time during that movie.
Yeah, that's a tearjerker right there. Yeah.
Even though it's like, I don't know, it's very unbelievable kind of thing. Like,
There's a lot of
pushing it. Like, all right, we get it. He was like, he almost becomes this like cult phenomenon.
There's a lot of suspension of disbelief in that movie.
But like, there's two scenes that just get me fucking every time. Just thinking about it chokes me up. When he's holding Bubba, and Bubba's just like, I just want to go home. And
Oh,
like,
God.
Damn it. And then
anytime somebody dies in a Vietnam War scenario, it's so sad.
And then when he's having his last talk with his mother before she dies, he's like,
oh yeah,
he's like, "What's my destiny, mama?" I'm like, oh god damn, I lose it every fucking time.
Yeah, he's just getting choked up right now just thinking about it.
But I don't ever cry when Jenny dies though. And then when it's hard for me to.
She's kind of an unlikable character in that movie.
She is, but you kind of have sympathy for her at the end when she tries to be like the love of Forrest, but like it's like too little, too late. It's like you done fucked up the whole movie, and then lastly you're just like, I don't want to get married. I want to push my kid off you. But that was one of the first performances by Haley Joel Osment.
Oh yeah, he was a little tyke in the end.
Yeah, who
Forrest Jr.,
who was also in Spielberg's movie Artificial Intelligence.
AI.
I love that movie. It's really good.
Movie too.
That was actually Stanley Kubrick and Spielberg were originally supposed to team up, but Spielberg,
Kubrick died right
Kubrick
before.
died, yeah. So he kind of took the hands and directed it for him.
I thought there was another movie that, or maybe it was that one. I'm just getting my stories confused. Where he was. It might have been. I might be thinking of Eyes Wide Shut because that was Kubrick's last film. But I thought that Spielberg had worked with him on that too. But I don't know.
That movie's fucking weird.
It is a weird movie.
Stanley Kubrick he's a good director. Like The Shining's one of my favorite movies, but he's a weird dude.
My favorite Kubrick film is 2001.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that one.
That's a trippy ass movie.
I like both halves, but I really like the first half of Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, the first half is really good.
And the second half,
boot camp shit.
The second half is pretty good, but it's almost like a completely different movie.
It has a different feel to it, yeah.
But no, back to Tom Hanks. Fuck. My Forrest Gump is one of my favorites. His recent work he did with Spielberg and Meryl Streep, The Post, was pretty good.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to see that.
Yeah,
I wanted to.
Yeah, it's another kind of not courtroom, but newspaper drama.
Mm-hmm.
Courtroom dramas. Spielberg's been known to do that lately, so I don't know.
Amistad was kind of a courtroom drama.
Yeah, it was. And The Color Purple is kind of just a drama itself.
Mm-hmm.
Schindler's List is just depressing.
I love Schindler's List.
It's good.
Such a good movie.
But I remember the first time I seen that, I was probably like, first time I seen that was a couple years ago, to be honest.
Really?
That's the first time I ever seen it. Like, well, because I don't know, I have this, anything that deals with like Hitler and concentration camps, gives me the willies. Like, even learning that in school, I just hated that subject.
AJ's a friend of the Jews, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. This is sad. Like, it's scary.
It is.
It's sad.
It's a real shitty part of history.
But I didn't know that movie like won a lot of awards when it came out. He did that right after Jurassic Park. Came out the same year, didn't it?
No, I think it was like 95 or something.
Was it?
And
Check
then,
our resources.
and then Saving Private Ryan came out in 99, so I'm pretty sure he did all three of those back to back to back.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a very like unique, like since I want to say like since Saving Private Ryan, nope, 93.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Schindler's List came out in 93.
Oh wow, I didn't know this.
Came out Christmas of 93. So about.
He must have been working on both of those at the same time.
He said that he I forgot which one he shot. I think while he was directing Jurassic Park, he was doing like post stuff for Schindler's List. And I guess he got in a really deep depression after he shot Schindler's List because he was like shooting a bunch of stuff. He's like, why am I even doing this? Like, who's gonna see this movie?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but it made a lot of money and it won a lot of awards. So
It's a great movie. It's one of my favorite Spielberg films.
yeah,
And both of those movies are very ambitious.
yeah,
Like, to come out right, working on both of those back to back.
yeah. I don't know, like I feel like from Schindler's List to Saving Private Ryan, the look of a Spielberg movie is very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch Schindler's List and Jurassic Park, they're kind of similar in a way that they were shot. But if you look at Saving Private Ryan, it's like completely different. It's like more like a dark tone to it. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know the way they processed the film was different on Saving Private Ryan. That's why it has that look to it.
Yeah.
It's like kind of almost a washed out.
Yeah, like AI is kind of like that. It's really washed out. And Saving Private Ryan's really like the blood doesn't look like blood. It's like a deep red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they used. I think they used fewer chemicals.
Oh yeah.
When processing the film.
Mm-hmm.
So it had kind of a wet look. I guess
Yeah.
would be a good term to
Yeah.
use.
How do you say that?
Janusz Kaminski.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works with Spielberg on a lot of movies.
Fact, after he shot Schindler's List, this Korkinski guy, I don't know how to say his name.
Janusz Kaminski.
Kaminski. He shot one of my favorite sports 90s family films, starring Rick Moranis and Ed O'Neill, Little Giants. That movie's actually really shot really well. For a kid's movie, that movie's really shot very well.
My favorite part of that is the fat kid.
Oh, yeah. He farts all the time.
When they're doing drills and he's running, he starts to breathe funny.
Oh, yeah.
I just crack up every time because that was totally me.
Oh, really?
In PE. I'd just be like breathing heavy and fucking sweating as soon as I stepped outside.
His name's Zoltek. Hey, Rick Moranis is like, Zoltek, the neighborhood friendly gas man. Gas man. I don't get it. I didn't know you knew about that movie.
Yeah, I've seen that movie a few times.
That movie's classic.
I
Classic
haven't
Ed
watched it
O'Neill.
in a long time. But
That was Rick
I
Moranis
just-
in his prime.
I just remember that fat kid the most.
That kid.
I guess because I relate.
It was Rick Moranis in his prime. It was like back in mid '90s.
I know. I was really disappointed when he retired.
He retired like
It's been a while. Well, he retired to take care of his wife,
Kids,
and then
yeah.
she passed away, and then he decided just to take care of his kids.
yeah, which I can't really blame him.
Which now they're grown, so come back to movies.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to be in the remake of the Ghostbusters, but he wasn't.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for Strange Brew 2 or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids 3.
No, there is a third. It would be the fourth one.
Oh yeah, it would be the fourth one.
Because Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves was garbage.
Yeah, and it has that lady that did that sex cult. She just got caught. I don't know what her name is. She was in Camp Nowhere and she was in Smallville.
Oh, Allison Mack?
Yeah.
She was in that?
Yeah, she
Oh,
plays
was she one of the kids?
yeah, she's one of the she's one of the kids.
Oh.
She's one of the main kids. So you see her a lot.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I didn't remember she was in that.
Favorite Joe Pesci movie?
I don't know. I get.
Love Ranch.
I gotta go. I guess I gotta go with Casino because
Casino?
he's just like I love his character. He's just he just doesn't give a fuck.
He's such an asshole.
He's such a prick in that movie, but he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I probably have to say probably Casino. It's topped between Casino, Goodfellas, and Home Alone.
That's a very weird combination.
It is a
right
weird
there.
combination.
Casino, Goodfellas, and Home Alone.
Mom.
I would even go so far as to say Casino's my favorite
Yeah.
Scorsese movie.
Hmm.
I just fucking love the shit out of that movie. I don't know. I think it's better than Goodfellas.
Speaking of like mobster gangster movies, gonna bring up Francis Ford Coppola for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know who directed that movie Jack with Robin
yeah.
Williams? That's such a random movie.
So weird considering his
Background.
well, his filmography. He did Apocalypse Now,
Yeah.
and he did all three Godfathers,
Yeah.
and then he does Jack.
I swear he did. People say it, and I've heard on other.
Well, he did Dracula also.
Yeah. Wait, which one?
The what year was that? Like 95 with the oh my god, the one with Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman.
Oh, isn't that Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Francis Coppola directed that.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Dracula 2000. Ugh,
No, God,
or
no.
Dracula Untold. Ugh. You know what? Screw it. Van Helsing, that movie's garbage. They need to make a real like Castlevania movie.
Castlevania would be cool if
with,
they
like,
did it right.
With like Simon Belmont, he's in the Dracula castle and he has to go through all these things and then he fights Dracula at the end. That'd be awesome.
He has to collect his body parts.
Yeah, that'd be fucking cool. Like, do something like that. Do Castlevania the movie.
They have that series on Netflix.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it though.
Me neither. I haven't seen it.
Terrible fan, terrible person, but
I'm just a big Castlevania fan. Played all the
Castlevania
video
is
games.
a great game.
Yeah, Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo's fucking amazing. What was the first movie you seen in the theater?
First memory I have is seeing Empire Strikes Back.
What?
In the theater.
Was it a re-release or
I
the
think
original
it was,
release?
Yeah, because I was about 5.
What?
So it would have been.
I didn't know
It would have been a re-release around the time Return of the Jedi came out.
Okay, that
They
noise.
liked to do
Hold
that
on.
with the new
That
ones.
noise, that wasn't a fart. That was
That was
me.
the chair.
I'm a human being, and sometimes I flinch, so fuck. Sorry. Shut up. So was it a re-release or?
I would imagine it was, yeah, because I was 3 when Empire first came out, so I would.
It's probably like a.
Probably wasn't young or old enough.
It was probably a slight re-release when Jedi came out.
Yeah, because they
Soft
did that
release.
when every time the new one came out, they re-released A New Hope when Empire came out. And,
Oh yeah.
And then they re-released Empire when Jedi came out, so it was probably around 85
Oh okay.
or 83.
Yeah. The first movie I seen in the theater was I Hold This Close to My Heart. 'Cause I remember it, like the exact day, who I went with, everything about it, where I sat. Toy Story, Thanksgiving of '95.
No.
Original Toy Story. I went to the Tacoma Mall when they had that 2 auditorium big ass
That
theater.
big theater with the
Yeah,
huge
with
chandelier.
I always remember that. I don't
Me too.
remember
That's
anything about that theater besides that chandelier.
I know, that was like the big landmark.
It's like a staple.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then now it's like Krispy Kreme.
yeah, which is weird. People think that like the Krispy Kreme was the theater. I'm like, no.
No, it was in that area. Yeah, they
It was
tore
in
the
the
whole
same-
building
They
down.
tore the whole building down. But no, I look at old pictures and I remember sitting towards the back, the middle back, and I went with my aunt and all my cousins. We went Thanksgiving Day, and I remember just loving Toy Story. And I eventually,
It's a good movie.
I went to go see Hunchback of Notre Dame that same year. And I remember seeing Air Bud in the theater. my
Yes,
aunt-
your Disney Fest at the
Yeah.
Tacoma Mall Theater.
No, I seen Air Bud at the South Hill Mall Theater.
Oh.
Air Bud. I remember seeing. What else did I see? Oh, I seen Home Alone 3.
Oh, God.
Scarlett Jo's in that movie though.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she plays the sister, Megan. I seen Good Burger. 97 was a big year for movies. To be for me, I seen a lot of movies in '97. Good Burger, Home Alone 3.
I saw a lot in 97.
Titanic. I seen when they re-released A New Hope as a special edition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That was pretty
I
awesome.
remember that was my senior year of high school.
Oh, really?
I saw A New Hope like 4 times.
Oh, really?
And then I was supposed to be in a play
Mm-hmm.
that year in high school, but I dropped out because it was going. The like opening night was the night that Empire came out.
Oh, really?
So I was like, I dropped out of the play so I could go see Empire when it came out.
Oh, really?
And I'm glad I did because that play sucked.
Oh, really? Watch out. Ow. Damn. Wow.
Yeah.
97, you were a senior in high school?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm an old fart.
graduated in 97. I was
Mhm.
6, so I was like in first, second grade.
AJ is my son, if you didn't know.
That's weird.
No.
No, I remember seeing a lot of movies in the theater. Pokemon, the first movie, Pokemon 2000, Bicentennial Man, Snow Day, Castaway.
Jesus.
Um,
A lot of good movies and a lot of shitty movies.
yeah, a
in
lot
the
of shitty
theater.
movies, a lot of good movies. Castaway. I remember seeing The Green Mile. Oh, God, I remember seeing The Green Mile in the theater, and I love the movie, but when you're like, when that movie came out, like, what, 2000 or 99?
Green Mile?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
2099. I think it was like December of. Anyway, no, it came out a year after. No, it came out a year before Castaway, so it was probably like 99. I remember being 8, watching that movie, and I shielded my mom shielded my eyes when he gets the electric chair scene.
Oh.
Yeah, that terrified me. I just remember that movie being really sad and really fucking long. Like, the movie's like 3.5 hours.
Is it that long?
The movie's like 3 hours.
I don't remember
Really
it that
fucking long.
I'm sure it feels like that when you're a kid.
Well, I mean, that movie was one of those double VHS tapes, like Titanic.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so I know that movie's for a fact really fucking
No, it
long.
would have to be, yeah, if it's
Yeah.
two tapes.
Right.
You always knew when a movie was super long when you saw the store shelf.
2
this
tapes.
thick ass box.
You know,
Shit,
you're
that's
into-
2 tapes, man.
Right.
That's an all day thing.
Right? The whole day thing. Like watching one of the Lord of the Rings extended cuts.
Oh my god! Imagine if those were on VHS.
Fuck.
It'd be like 6 tapes.
6 tapes.
What a
Damn.
big box set for one movie.
I miss tapes. I never said video, though. I know a lot of people said, oh, let's go run a video. I always said, let's go run a tape.
Really?
Yeah, I always said that.
I always said video. Let's go
Yeah.
get a video or a movie. Let's go rent a movie.
Yeah. Oh, God, I miss those days. Hollywood Video. I remember we used to have Hollywood Video back in, like, the late 90s, early 2000s. We had Hollywood Video. Then we had Blockbuster. But I felt like rich people went to Blockbuster, and then, like, the ghetto-ass people went to, like, Hollywood Video. I don't know. So I was always trying to go to Hollywood Video. I never could go to Blockbuster because they were so expensive. Like, a late fee was, like, $4.
Blockbuster was for rich folk.
Yeah, it was.
You had to live in a certain part of town to shop at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
We had to go to Hollywood Video or
Or-
Movie Express
Movie Gallery.
or Movie Gallery.
Or,
yeah. There was one by my house that was like Movie Express or something.
Oh,
like that.
Home Video Express.
Home Video Express. Yeah,
That's what it
that
was.
was the one. I had one of those by my house.
There was Home Video Express, Movie Gallery, and Movie Update. But
Movie
I'm
Update.
yeah.
What the fuck is that?
No, I have an old VHS tape. It says Movie Update on it. And then no, Home Video Express. I remember that.
Yeah, Home Video Express.
I remember going to Hollywood Video or like Home Video Express and looking. Oh no, I remember going to Marketplace.
Oh,
And
God.
I remember when grocery stores had video sections.
Yes.
Like Albertsons had video section.
They had big ones too. They had big video sections.
I remember Marketplace used to have this. It would be the Super Nintendo games, Sega games, and then horror. So I would always sneak over to the horror section and look at all the cool like video art and things like that.
Oh,
like
the
remember,
box art?
yeah,
Yeah,
I love looking at.
Horror movies had such good box art back
They
then.
do, and I remember I couldn't rent any of them because my mom's like, "That's too scary." But
Right.
I remember seeing like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, the Friday the 13th movies, and I remember seeing Peter Jackson's Dead Alive, like with
Oh.
the mouth and the skull coming out of the mouth.
Oh, my parents didn't give a shit. I
Yeah.
watched Nightmare on Elm Street when I was like 8.
No, I mean, like as I got older, I mean, back then I was only like 7 or 6, so you know that was
Man.
mid '90s.
That was back in the days when your parents just would like
Yeah.
let you do whatever.
Yeah,
And
I mean, like
you
as I
didn't end
got,
up fucked up.
as I got older, like when I was like 12 or 13, I really started getting into horror movies. And like the first like legit horror movie I seen in the theater was the Texas Chainsaw remake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the theater. I was hooked. I was like, oh my god, I got to see the original ones, and I ended up watching like A Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's at least the first three are like some of my favorite horror movies.
I like the first four. After 5 and on, it gets kind of weird.
The first
you can even argue that 3 and 4 are weird.
I love Dream Warriors, but I think Dream Masters number 4. I think Masters. Yeah, Dream Masters number 4. The first half is really good because it has most of the cast from the third one.
Mm-hmm.
But then they all die off within the first 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
So then it's all Patricia Arquette is not in number 4, and her like replacement is god awful. Like she doesn't even look the same at all. Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah.
I do remember that though. Yeah.
Patricia Arquette's the best thing about number 3, I think. I don't know. I like Dream Warriors. I feel like number 2 is really good, but for certain reasons.
Number 2 is just odd because it's so different from the first one.
It's so different. But that's why I kind of like it though.
Like the only thing that's really keep making it part of the series is that Freddy's in it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because it's new characters.
And they talk about Nancy for like maybe 2 minutes, and that's
mm-hmm.
it.
And he's like, something that doesn't happen in any of the other ones where he possesses somebody.
No.
Yeah, I think that's the part. Also, another part that makes it so different is because Freddy's not really haunting anybody, but he's possessing somebody.
And he's part of the real world. Like he comes into the real world, which that's kind of like contradicting yourself from the first one. Because I don't know, when I first seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, that literally made me not want to go to sleep for a long time. And I still have problems like issues like falling asleep, but it's not because of that. It's because I can't sleep.
I have to watch that movie on a sunny day.
Right. I used to be like that when I was a kid. I used to watch horror movies like in the middle of the fucking summer. Like I couldn't do it.
Can't do it at night, man.
Nah, not at all. But like,
then you're like, when you're going up the stairs, you feel like somebody's following you.
Right.
Like, fuck you, Freddy.
Right. I would always rent. My mom would always let me rent one Super Nintendo game and then one VHS, but it had to be like a kids movie.
Yeah.
So, do you listen to any podcasts?
There's a couple I listen to. Not a whole bunch. I listened to Kevin Smith's a couple of times.
Oh my god, I listen to everything.
And there's like this Star Wars collecting one that I listen to.
That's right. I listen to. I got a shout out. Bunch of podcasts I listen to. Cinema Scumbags. I listen to them. The No Sleep podcast. That's a really creepy one. Indie Film Hustle. I like that one. Hey, Do You Remember? It's one of my favorite ones because they talk about everything 90s and 80s.
Oh, nice.
90s and 80s movies.
Check that one out.
Yeah, this is called Hey, Do You Remember? Yeah, and of course Kevin Smith. I love his Smodcast stuff. He's one of our biggest. At least he's one of my biggest inspirations. To be honest.
I love the shit out of Kevin Smith, man. That's like one of our big goals on this show is to get him
Kevin Smith. At least have him.
At least give him a shout out.
Skype call or something.
Yeah.
I've met the dude twice, and he is like the nicest dude in the world.
I was daydreaming the other day. I was like, what if Kevin Smith came to town, and we brought a little mic for him to give him a shout out, and then he agreed to be on our show, and he would come and stay at my house, and we just do the show at my house.
So we of course end every show with a little trivia question to keep our listeners thinking on their feet. Put in the comments or email us the answers, and you will win a shout out. Even if if you get the right answer, we'll still give you a shout out. What actor in 1989 starred or had a part in 2 major blockbusters that came out within weeks of each other? It was one actor. Brian knows what it is.
I do.
Not giving no hints. So what actor had a part in 2 big summer movies in 1989 that came out within weeks of each other? Anyway, so that's the question for next week or the next 2 weeks. Again, follow us on Instagram at Mostly Movies Pod. I'm one of your hosts, AJ.
I'm also one of your hosts, Brian.
And we'll see you guys next week.
We'll see it. Why are you being so awkward?
In 2 weeks.
We'll see you guys next time. Have fun. Keep watching movies.